Eagles Postgame Live, presented by our friends at Cure Auto Insurance. Barrett Brooks, Ray Dittinger, Seth Joyner, Derek Gunn in Buffalo. We'll hear from Doug Peterson about this one, Carson Wentz, and all of the principals in a 31-13 Eagles win that moves their record to 4-4. Ray D, copious notes. What's the most important thing besides the win that you got out of this one?
Well, the win is kind of the bottom line here. And
it's incidental, Ray.
No, the win is kind of the bottom line here because, yeah, I mean, the season really was kind of hanging in the balance. I really did view this as a real crossroads kind of game for them. If they had lost this game, I mean, you could make a case about, oh, there's still half a season to play and all that kind of stuff, but that really would have just been happy talk. I mean, if they had lost this game to fall another game behind 500, even in this terrible division, it would have been hard for them to make the playoffs. But to win, and win impressively, which this really was. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people now after this game that are going to say, the Bills, they weren't that good after all. Their record was misleading. But their Bills are pretty good. I mean, they got some work to do on offense, and the young quarterback has to develop. But defensively, they've been a good team all year. Even in the one game they lost against the Patriots had a heck of a time moving the ball against them. And the Eagles, once they got it rolling offensively, they were really, really good. And I thought that there were two really pivotal points in the game. One was the first fumble that was forced, the turnover. At that point, the Eagles were losing in the game and were sort of sputtering a little bit offensively. And Brandon Graham gets the sack and the hit on Allen. The Eagles get the ball in really good field position. They take it in and score. Take the lead. And from that point on, the Eagles were really kind of in control. I thought that there was one other key moment in the second half. The Sanders run right at the start of the half really gets you off on a jump start. But there was a series then when the Eagles defense came in. The Eagles had scored a touchdown, got extended the lead. Bills get the ball back. And one of the problems with the Eagles defense this year has been they have not been good at shutting the other team down when the offense has scored. The Eagles take the ball down, they score. The other team gets the ball back, they score right on top of them. That's happened way too many times this year. Well, this is one occasion where that didn't happen. The Eagles score, Bills get the ball back, 3 and out. They punt the ball, but Scott fumbles it. And now the Bills get the ball back again with a chance to kind of now stay alive if they can take that down, and they don't. And the defense came in, and the defense shut them down yet again. So you stop them once on 3rd down, and then you stop them again after the fumbled punt. And from that point on, the Eagles were in complete control of the game. So this was really on both sides of the ball, with the exception of the special teams, but offensive and defense. So this is about as complete a game as this team has played since Green Bay, really.
Let's go to Western New York right now, Buffalo to be exact. Check in with Derek Gunn, looking a lot more calm than he was out in the elements in the pregame program. Gunner, how impressed, if you were, how impressed were you with this win today, 31-13?
Well, I think the first thing you have to say is thank you, Orlando Scandrick, because that was a big issue. How would this team respond? How would it drown out the outside noise in terms of staying focused and showing people that they're not as bad as they displayed over the last couple of weeks? They came out here, they scored more points in this game than they did the last couple of games, and more importantly, on a very nasty day, when throwing the football was a problem at times, they finally found that running game again against a defense that was pretty good against the run. When you look at how they stacked up against other teams in the National Football League, you get over 220 yards rushing in a National Football League, you've done your job. So kudos to the offensive linemen up front. The running backs ran hard in this game, and finally you got that bad taste out of their mouths. I think that was the most important thing, to get that bad taste out of your mouth. And now let's get ready for an even bigger challenge next week on a positive note, more so than a negative note. So they did exactly what they had to do. I was a little concerned there in the 3rd quarter when they allowed Buffalo to go down the field and convert on one drive, a 3rd and 14, a 3rd and 8, and a 3rd and 13, which led to a touchdown. I'm thinking, here we go again with this defense. But after that, they buckled down. They played the kind of football they needed to against a Buffalo team that a lot of people had some doubts about, were they as good as their record indicated. And the Eagles put out all that noise and got the job done here today.
Derek Gunn joining us from Buffalo. Looking forward to your interviews coming up, Derek, as you hit the locker room. Let me go to Barrett, because I know, and I don't cast aspersions when I say this, Seth and Ray picked an Eagles loss today. Barrett, what about this game made you believe that the Eagles were going to win?
Well, I mean, I just look at the both fronts. I look at the defensive front and the offensive front of both teams. I feel as though we had the better offensive line. than Buffalo. And as far as the defensive line, I really felt as though the stars were going to step up this game. Fletcher Cox talked a lot about him going in and making sure he crossed his T's and dotted his I's. I really felt as though their offensive line could not handle the pass rushers on the outside. I thought it was distinct advantage for Derek Barnett to go against his guy and Brandon Graham on the other side going against his guy. I knew that they would beat him and get pressure on this quarterback, and I knew the quarterback could not handle pressure. They didn't have to bring the blitz. These guys could rush from the outside and then put some headway on these guys. So that was my major thing. I thought we were going to win in the trenches, and then on the opposite side of the ball, we just ran the ball down their throat. I thought that those guys in the middle, although they were very, very good, Ed Oliver, Latutele, whatever his name is, those two guys were smaller type of defensive linemen, and I didn't think they would hold up against Brandon Brooks and Isaac Seumalo in the run if we ran the ball. That was my biggest distinction on why I felt we were going to win this game. When the big stars play like big stars, and we have enough on offense. I'm tired of people saying, oh, the offense, we don't have enough stars, there's not enough speed out there. No, our big thing was 12 personnel. Both tight ends were there. We knew that Alshon could go out there, control the outside, and move the sticks. It's just our stars need to play like stars, and what happened? Alshon played like a star. The offensive line played like stars. Carson Wentz played like a star. We're talking about him using his feet, being a better guy going out there and dictating to that defense what he wanted. And the biggest thing, our coaching staff finally put some innovation in there. They showed them how to play. They went out there, got them out the pocket, moved them around a little bit, and then they ran the ball consistently. In fact, me and Seth were talking about that 21 personnel, 2 running backs in the game when they ran the long run play to Miles Sanders. I can't believe they had 21 personnel, split backs, ran Howard as a fullback, made the block, and then the speed of the rookie going up into the line, it really threw Buffalo's defense out of whack because they had never seen it before because it was innovative. They finally ran a play in which nobody else saw.
We're waiting to hear from...
You know you picked the Eagles because you're a homer, man.
I'm always going to be a homer now.
Sauer, great. That's Seth Sauer. Great. Run the rock. 200-plus yard rushing games under Doug Peterson today and 218 yards at Dallas in 2017, almost 2 years ago. And then at San Diego, 214 yards. Both of those 2017, obviously, the Super Bowl year, and then against the Falcons in November of 2016. And those, all 4, are wins. So it says something about what happens if
Why don't you run the ball? I tweeted right towards the end of the game. I said, don't tell me that running the football does not win football games. Ever. Because if you can control the line of scrimmage, you can run whatever you want in your playbook. And the beauty of what you saw today is the elements dictated that we run the ball. But I think Doug knew that we really had to run the football in order to control this situation today. I just don't understand why these offensive gurus and these offensive coaches get so far away from, what's obvious. You can't change the tenets of football. If I can dominate the line of scrimmage, and I know as a defensive player, the worst thing in the world is when they run the ball up your behind and you can't do anything about it. I mean, Buffalo, as good as their defenses have played, I guarantee you, they're sitting in that locker room right now, licking their wounds, totally demoralized, because that is the most demoralizing thing for a defense to have to face is that you're running the ball, they know you're running the ball, we know they're running the ball, and you can't do a darn thing about it.